Hello, and welcome to the technical demo for my procedural roguelike game. In this video, I will be going through, to the best of my ability, all the scripts and the technical functionality of the game that I built as part of a Zenva Academy course. So to start off the game, you're presented with the main menu with the title, the option to type in a seed, and the play button. So I'll explain how this works. So let's look at the menu script. So all we have on here is the player can input a number and then they can click play. And they can click play without a number to start from the very first seed. So let's look at the menu script. So the menu script simply just handles those buttons and updates the text box and sets that to a variable for when they click play. So that's that pretty quickly explained. So once they click play, they're then taken to the game. And on the game, as you can see, they have coins, they have health, and they have a mini-map. There are enemies, there are pickups for health, and there's a key, and there's a dungeon door exit. So, which script shall we look at first? Let's look at the game manager script. So this handles a lot of the base game core functionality, and it's probably the biggest script in the game. So here we have variables for things like the level, the seed, the health, the coins, pardon me, and the player instance itself. So let's go through this. So when the game starts, the level is set to 1, it gets the seed and puts that in, it then generates the level based on the seed, using the generate script, which I'll show you momentarily, and then we also update the UI. Here's some functionality for going to the next level, where it stores the player's current health and coins to then take with it to the next level, and then loads that next level. Okay. It also increments all the necessary things, such as the level number and the seed number, and assigns variables, and also updates the UI. So that's the base game manager script. Let's look at the room script. So this is the script for handling the generation of the rooms. So what we've done is create all these objects for the walls themselves. So you've got the walls, and you've also got values for, sorry, these are, we have lots of transforms. So we have the actual physical walls there that we can play with, and we also have the game objects that we need to also randomly decide to spawn in. So to randomly decide what gets spawned, we generate a random number, and based on that number, we decide what gets spawned in and how many get spawned in. So that we handle that for the enemies, the coins, and the health. Pickups. This spawn prefab function will actually create instances of those objects and populate the map. And that's how the rooms are handled. Next, we can look at the player. So that's the green dude that you get to control. Let's have a look at this script. Oh yeah, so here's where we store, while the game is playing, the current HP, bounds like their maximum HP, how many coins they have, whether or not they've picked up the dungeon key, and their actual skin, the sprite, so we can change that too in here. So handling player movement, we fire a raycast, and if that hits, then we can move in the direction that the raycast was fired in. So that's decided based on the WAS and D movement keys. and we handle moving up, down, left, and right by doing the same thing a couple of times. And we also handle attacking, which is done similarly as it's done up, right, left, and down for the movement and attacking. For the actual attacking motion, similar to before, we use another ray cast to see if there's anything there to hit. And if there is, then we hit the enemy and the enemy takes damage. And we also handle what happens when we take damage, so we decrement the health by the damage to take. So this means we could also have different damage taken from different enemies if we want. And here we also handle if they get hit and the player has no health left, then it loads scene 0, which is the start of the game. And we also handle the damage flash, which you may have seen in the live demo, which is what happens when you get hit and you just simply flash white briefly, and that gives the illusion of being hit by the enemy. Here's for when you pick up a coin and for when you pick up some health. So that's the player script explained. Now I'm not going to go through all these scripts, just the base ones that help give an idea of how it all comes together. We don't need to go through the UI. The pickup class script is very simple. Handles the collision boxes for picking up coins and health, which is just 2 if statements. The exit door similarly is just a collision box, and when the player hits that and they have the key, then it loads the next level. The enemy class, all this does is instantiate them when the game starts, because it's already been determined where they'll be. Yeah, the enemy class, we'll go through this, the enemy script. So this handles the enemies, how they move, how much health and damage they do. Okay, so this handles them taking damage, we've done before for the player, so we decrement them. And if the health hits 0, there's also a death drop prefab, so this will change the enemy to sort of give the illusion that they die and they then get destroyed. And the damage flash for the enemy, that's handled here. And how they move is determined randomly, like we've done before. And we simply determine the random direction, check if it can move in that direction, and then move if it can. So that's pretty simple. Oh, and this is for actually getting the random direction. So it's either going to be north, south, east, or west, and that's just a random number between one of 4. So that's how the enemies move around. Let me see if there's anything else I need to explain. How the rooms are made, I've done that. The rest of the scripts, like UI and menu, they're all simple setting of value scripts. And so I believe that covers it. Actually, no, I haven't explained the minimap. Let me see if I can bring this up. See. Okay, so on here we have the variable level, and that's just determined from the game manager. That's given in, passed in, because the game manager is constantly aware of what level it's on based on the seed. And then the minimap itself, if I can find the script for this, minimap uses the script. Bear with me while I try and find the script for the minimap. Aha, okay, I believe this is the one, okay. Yes, so this keeps track of the player and it also selects the sort of room it's currently in, highlights that as green. So it follows the player around and changes the minimap based on which room the player's in. So it just changes the color of the particular room it's into green when the player's in there. And here is some functionality for determining the size of the minimap. And then it sets and applies, returns texture. Okay, cool. So I believe I've covered everything there. Thank you for watching the technical demo.